opportunity to go hunting with a couple good buddies of mine, Steve and Chris. While we were sitting there in the shed, we were talking and food came up, and this is a common occurrence, it seems, everywhere I go when we talk about cooking venison or elk or any type of wild game. Some people just don't like it. So as I was sitting there and we were talking and discussing things, I think it has a lot to do that it's always prepared usually the same way. If you poll 10 people and you say, how do you cook your venison? You're going to still get a lot of the old ways of cooking it, such as throw it in some flour, put it in some butter and some onions in a pan, and go ahead and eat it. Well, it just doesn't cut it anymore. People have developed taste for different spices, different textures, and so on. So you got to change it up and keep with the times. So what I was telling Chris about was a recipe I came up with, venison egg rolls. Most people feel that in order to make something taste really great as far as wild game goes, you have to really doctor it up with a lot of spices, a lot of different types of sauces and stuff, and that's just not the case. In this recipe, we're going to use simple ingredients that you're going to probably already have in your kitchen. Soy sauce, coleslaw, garlic powder, ginger, egg roll wraps, and the only spice that you may not have is called 5 spices. It's an Asian spice, and it really makes these egg rolls taste outstanding. And then obviously, we're going to go ahead and use venison for this recipe, or you can substitute it for antelope, mule deer, elk. They'll all taste good in it. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's first start with getting our venison in there, and we're going to brown this meat. We're going to then add a teaspoon of garlic powder, a good teaspoon of chopped ginger, then we'll add a teaspoon of the 5 spice. Now we'll go ahead and we'll add a couple teaspoons of soy sauce. 1, 2. The thing you want to remember is just brown the meat. We're not trying to make it crispy or anything like that. We're just trying to cook it through. So do it on a medium heat and incorporate the spices that we've added to it. Well, now that most of the meat's brown and it's pretty much scrambled, we got it kind of broken down a little bit. Now we're going to go ahead and add our coleslaw. Now what we want to do here is we just want to really wilt this a little bit. We're not trying to make it completely mushy. We still want it to be a little bit crispy, but we do want to let it cook just a little bit. We also want to go ahead and add another teaspoon of soy sauce. Mix this in. Now that our coleslaw mixture is cooked through and it's wilted, we're going to go ahead, shut the stove off, let it cool for a little bit before we put it in our egg roll wrappers. While we're waiting for it to cool, we're also going to get our deep fryer going. We're going to get it up to a temperature of 375 degrees. And you'll notice one side of the wraps is going to have a little more flour than the opposite side. So you want to lay the wraps down with the flour side up. That's going to help when you wet the edges act as a glue to keep everything together. So what you want to do is, you've got a bowl of water here, just take your fingers and just rub each edge of each wrap. Now what you want to do is you want to take about 2 tablespoons of our meat mixture and put it on each egg roll wrap. And then what you'll do is you'll fold this side over like so, kind of pull it back a little bit, make sure your meat mixture is in as best as can be, fold each corner over like so, kind of push it down, and then you're going to want to just roll these up nice and tight like so. Now that we're up to our 375 degrees, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set a couple of these egg rolls in. We'll drop them down and cook them till they're golden brown. You want to make sure you turn them around a little bit so that way they brown evenly on both sides. It's all about presentation. If people didn't like wild game before, you want to make it look as appealing to the eye as possible, because that's half the battle. If you can make it look appealing, you can make people eat things that they never thought they liked. So there you have it. It doesn't get much simpler than this. It doesn't get much tastier than this either. And you don't have to spend a lot of time in the kitchen. In fact, Chris, you probably could follow these directions, no problem. So until next time, I hope you get in the kitchen, hope you cook some fantastic food, and I hope your friends, family love you for doing it. Take care.